All right, let's have a look at BigBear, BBAI. So this name hovering around 450. Today is 10% up, but last a few days when I talked about this one, probably somewhere around here, saying that this 450 area is a breakout area, and can it potentially push towards 6 and at some point maybe even towards $10 levels. Let's have a look. So in terms of the chart, you can see in the last 2 years what it has done. From 50 cents all the way to $6 when all NVIDIA hype, all that AI hype came in early 2023. That's when it happened. It did push pretty big and then faded very quickly as well back to these $1.50 levels. And it did spend there for almost 6 to 9 months or so, I believe, until this pop in the beginning of the year, February, March 2024. And then that move faded as well. And this stock spent in $1.50 and $2 range for about another 6 to 8 months before this very recent move up right here. And this time around, this dip was bought and this stock started bouncing higher. So what does that mean? So is this stock now ultra short term forming some sort of a higher lows, which we can clearly see, higher low, higher low. Is this for being another higher low now? And can the stock pretty much push from here and reach next resistance level of 6 or 10? So in terms of that, well, volume is there. Still elevated volume. You can see clearly it has never traded with such volume during these times when we had the stock move. You can see these two moves where volume pretty much disappeared very, very quickly. And this time around, what I'm noticing is that the volume is a little bit persistent. Okay, so as long as we have the volume, and at the same time, option market, very options driven stock, I will be watching this name to the upside, but you have to understand one thing. Yes, they don't make money. They still lose money. They keep doing offerings to keep the business up. I don't even know exactly what they do, okay? I look at the chart, I look at the dilution when it comes to small caps, and the chart pattern, that's it. And option activity, that's it. I don't care about their business like intrinsically what they do, because these things are purely trading vehicles for me if I decide to trade it, but I'm not trading it. I don't have a position. So this is a dilution tracker. I'm seeing in the last 6 months or so, they haven't pretty much diluted. The last time they did from 23 to 24, they did dilute by 100 million shares. And you can see them here again, dilution tracker, and then what kind of warrants they have written and what kinds of convertible notes they have issued for how much of the money. Looks like the most recent one in December was $182 million of convertible notes. Okay. And then another one right here until 2023. I'm seeing at the money 150 million raised back in May through this Cantor. I don't know. It could be somebody who helped them to sell these shares in the market. You have to keep an eye on those things, okay? Another thing is insiders. Look at the insider dumpings. I mean, they have been relentless pretty much throughout this December, despite the volume staying high and despite these insiders. If you look at the market capitalization of this stock, it is $1.1 billion stock. And insiders alone, in December alone, have dumped 198 total million worth of shares, which is 20% of this whole company's capitalization. They dumped this many shares into the market. So you can see they have been selling even at $2, $3, $3.40, $4. But again, it doesn't mean that stock can't keep going higher. It can definitely push. I'm keeping an eye on insiders. I'm keeping an eye on SEC filings, which you should as well. And at the same time, option market. So option market certainly has more open interest, call open interest, which is 349,000 total calls versus 85,000 total puts. And you can see in the money, outside of the money, March looks like March 21st has pretty big options, and January 17th has pretty big in the money total open interest contracts. And even I'm seeing some 2026 January and 2027 January deep in the money option contracts out there. But it doesn't say much, but it could definitely mean that option market ultra short term, or maybe even to those expirations, could be positioned a little bit positive to the upside just by looking at today's price action, because I like to take a look at most recent one and daily, weekly. If I'm following the stock, I will keep coming back and watching daily what's going on with the option activity, and I look at the stats. And today's Friday, January 3rd stat so far, you can see clearly 51,000 calls traded, 9,000 puts traded. And if you take a look at the 37% of the contracts that were pretty much, they were purchased at the asking price. And I also at the same time come in and take a look at the largest orders. Are people coming in and buying certain strikes? And what I'm seeing is a lot of people staying in the money. They're not going crazy with outside of the money calls or attacking at certain levels constantly. No, I'm seeing, a lot of bullish calls, but these, in terms of monetary value of these calls, they're not very significant calls, okay? 450 for February, for January, 450 calls, for February, 4.5 calls. These are all at the money, in the money. There are some 5-6 calls are being traded as well, but there are a lot of calls that came in today just by judging today's activity alone. And there are also puts that came in for 2020, actually for May, $4.50 puts and $4.50 calls. But so far, just by looking at this flow, I mean, today definitely option market looked like it is. Most of those calls that came in, there's not that many spurts. Naked buyers, most of them executed at the asking price, and could be retail for the most part, bullish the stock. Since this stock is only $1 billion stock, I mean, what is the probability of this name trading at the $10 level, let's say in the next 3 months? You can take a look at option market again and go look at let's take a look at May 16th, 2025. Okay, $8. Looks like this is the highest for May. According to option market, there's 14% chance of that happening. That $8 strike price is trading in the money. Is it a lot? Is it not a lot? I mean, it's for you to decide, but certainly don't think that this stock is a cheap stock just because it is $4.50 levels. And at the same time, don't think that option contracts are cheap just because, you're seeing those contracts at pennies. Some of them are 50% move imply. You can just come take a look at the implied volatility of all those monthly strikes for the BBAI. They don't have weeklies, they have only monthly option expirations, and you can see those are very, very high, very, very expensive. I mean, for me personally, I'm not sure about what rules you have regarding trading, buying or selling options, but in terms of like naked buying calls or puts, these are expensive for me. So, and the only time I can justify going long with high IV, it is when stock breaks out. So I would be watching $6. If it clears $6, sure, I will join the party maybe towards that $9-10 psychological level resistance. And that's my update for the BBAI. This is what I'm watching. volume is still there. But as long as volume is there, I'm watching it to the downside. But as soon as volume disappears, you gotta be very careful, because this stock can do what it has done right there and come right back down to $3 or $2.50. So that's what I'm watching for the stock. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. See you in the next one.